What would you say the motivation for this attack is?
First of all, there is a permanent threat. Let's say that ISIS has been striking several spots on the Lebanese territory in the past, and mainly in the southern suburb. Just remind you that these attacks stopped only in the summer of 2014. Before that, you had very spectacular attacks against, for example, the Iranian embassy in Lebanon and others in the southern suburb. Hezbollah's involvement in Syria, and mainly in the battle of Kalamoun and Zabadani that are ongoing now, were justified by the fact that Hezbollah wanted to stop the flow of car bombs to the southern suburb and to Lebanon. This has worked for a year, but today this attack is a proof that, in fact, in the long run, this is not very operational and effective. My bet is that the ISIS activity and activism in the region is about to expand now, mainly because of the talks about Syria that are regaining some traction, but mainly also because of the Russian intervention. You know, you had this Sinai plane bombing and other threats by ISIS to strike Russia. I think that ISIS and other groups have probably today an interest in showing that this new wave of war against it is not very effective and even could be counterproductive. Unfortunately, Lebanon is, I hate to say it, but a kind of collateral damage in that fight.
It's a chilling way to put it, but accurate in terms of what we've seen going on. We've seen, of course, the conflict from Syria crossing over the border into Lebanon on an increasing basis. Do you feel now we're entering a phase where things are becoming increasingly dangerous?
Lebanon has been, in fact, drifting very gradually towards many kinds of, many levels and many sorts of instability. And the factors for that are numerous. I mean, you have this refugee crisis, which is enormous. You have the fragility of the institutions, which is today almost more than a fragility. It's a kind of semi-collapse. And you have the overstretching of the security forces. For all these reasons, the country is a natural candidate for further destabilization. So I fear that this renewed activism by ISIS in the coming weeks and months will probably target Lebanon more and more, unfortunately. But, you know, I mean, besides the ISIS question per se itself, as long as Syria is this kind of generator for violence, for refugees, for radicalization, for sectarianism in the region, Lebanon and maybe tomorrow Jordan and other countries in the region will not be able to stay at bay of this wave of violence and this spiral of terrorism that will finally consume everyone. So I think that the structural thing to address here is really to address the Syrian question, not only from a military point of view, but really from a political point of view. And it's, I think, time for the diplomatic community today to really understand that you can't contain the Syrian crisis. You can't contain it within its borders. Today it's Lebanon, tomorrow it could be Jordan or Turkey or Iraq. It is time to really address this issue and address it politically in a satisfactory way for the Syrians first and for all the neighbors second.
Joseph Bahout, we need to leave it there. Joseph Bahout of the Carnegie Middle East Programme. Thank you very much for joining us there from Washington.